Adriana Smith did not give birth. She didn't push the baby out. She was deceased.
Adriana Smith, the brain-dead Black woman in Atlanta, Georgia, who was kept alive on life support against the wishes of her family in order to complete her pregnancy, has given birth.
Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ballistic Gist. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you will be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. Alright lovelies, let's get into today's stages of videos.
Adriana Smith, the brain-dead Black woman in Atlanta, Georgia, who was kept alive on life support against the wishes of her family in order to complete her pregnancy, has given birth. The baby was delivered via C-section and is 1 pound 13 ounces. Her son was delivered on Friday the 13th via C-section and is currently in the NICU fighting for his life, although people are optimistic. Adriana Smith's family is expected to end her life support today. This has set a terrifying precedent for abortion laws and what they could do to families and communities going forward. Instead of being able to just celebrate this new life, her family is left grappling with her loss when they should have been able to come to terms with that long ago. And the nation is left to live in this new reality, where women are expected to be nothing more than little baby incubators, no matter what it does to their health, regardless of the fact if they're alive or not. If you can donate to the family's GoFundMe, because months and months of healthcare, both behind them and ahead of them, are expensive and funerals are expensive, then please donate. If you can donate to any of the termination funds across the nation, I encourage you to do so that people can continue to access this incredibly necessary healthcare. If you can, contact your legislatures, your representatives and senators, and speak out against any and all termination bills and laws in your state, and attend protests and boycotts and whatever you can. I wish I could end on a hopeful message, because I'm a mom and I love babies, and life is something that should be celebrated at the end of the day. But all I can think about is that there's a little boy in the NICU fighting for his life that will be of a truly unknown quality, born under these horrific circumstances. And now there are 2 children who don't have their mother. And I'm just trying to find the pro-life thing that happened here that is actually pro-life and not just pro-birth. May Adriana Smith finally get to rest peacefully, and may her family finally get to begin this complicated, long journey ahead of them.
Adriana Smith did not give birth. She didn't push the baby out. She was deceased. Adriana Smith did not give birth. She was deceased. I wouldn't even call it a C-section. It's giving autopsy. They did that poor woman dirty. And this is why I'm so furious at people who vote red. Because this is what you vote for. And I'm not going to get too much into religion, because I'm not trying to start no discourse about that, because I am an atheist. I don't want to sit here and get into that. But long story short, this is not giving birth. She was deceased. It's giving autopsy. So when we're talking about Adriana Smith, make sure we are spreading the truth. She did not give birth. It was an autopsy.
Adriana Smith's delivery proves that not only are Black women the blueprint, but they are the experiment as well. There have been other documented attempts of women who were on life support carrying their baby to term. However, information as to what race they were, what the details are, were not disclosed. So according to Google, she is the first mother to carry a baby to birth via cesarean C-section. And not only does the family have to say their goodbyes to Adriana Smith, but they also have to welcome a 1 pound baby that's in the NICU. And they also have to worry about the baby's health. The baby's name is Chance. They stated that the baby is expected to be, quote unquote, okay. But we really don't know. And they're not giving much detail. It's just an unfortunate situation. It's, again, just proving that they love to experiment on us. And this is one of the ways they do it. Because this was wholeheartedly an experiment and just a way for Georgia to enforce their abortion law, because they don't care about that child. They didn't care about Adriana. They don't care about that child. And as the child grows and the family needs assistance taking care of whatever needs that baby will have, people will complain because it's their tax dollars. And you need to do this and you need to work harder. If you have to work 4 jobs, get 4 jobs. Even though the circumstances were against the family, they had no say. They don't care financially how this baby is taken care of. They don't care about the baby's health. They only care about enforcing the Georgia abortion law, and that is it.
Nah, no, I'm not over this. They really waited until today, June 17th, her birthday, to take her off life support? Like, that's not the most twisted, backhanded, cold-blooded kind of closure I've ever heard. You mean to tell me this woman's body was literally used? And the one day that should have been about remembering who she was? Celebrating her life before all this? That's the day y'all chose to pull the plug? Not the day before, not the day after. Her birthday. That's not a decision, that's a performance. They turned her body into a battleground, dragged her family through 4 months of hell, made her mother fight just to say goodbye with dignity, and then had the nerve to let her go on the day that she came into this world. I don't want to hear another word about morality, like not a single one. Because what do you even say to a family that went through this? Happy birthday, here's your daughter's death certificate. What the fuck? You really think that baby's life is going to be built on peace when this is how it all started? It's not just cruel, it's not just violent. It's intentional. Every single part of this, from the forced life support, to the timeline, to the cold way they finally allowed her to rest, it was all about control. How's the family supposed to stay calm? How are they supposed to feel? We can't be calm. We can't be collected. Because on behalf of that family, we damn sure are not neutral. Because if that was my daughter, my sister, my best friend, I wouldn't be talking. I would be screaming. I would be fighting. So no, this isn't just about laws. It's about humanity. They stripped her of it, right down to her very last breath, on her birthday. On her fucking birthday.
Adriana Smith will be taken off of life support today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. She is in Georgia. Baby Chance was born on Friday from a emergency C-section. He is weighing in at about 1 pound 13 ounces, I believe. It's 1 pound and something. And he did pass all of his tests so far. So he is, of course, in the NICU fighting. And we're just going to stay positive that, everything continues to be okay for him as he continues to, navigate life outside of, his mom's body. Now, Adriana Smith's mom, April, did do an interview yesterday, of course, letting us know, all the updates and things of that sort. And one of the things that she did mention within that interview is how I strongly feel she feels about the situation, that she made sure to state it. So we're going to go ahead and listen.
I guess I would like people to know that I think all women should have a choice about their body. And I think I would want people to know that she was a nurse or RN. The same field that she worked in is the same people that failed her. Can you kind of understand what I'm saying? Like, they didn't go that extra mile. Not even the extra mile. They didn't even do a CT scan on her that would have detected it. So I just feel like she's a nurse, and not even being a nurse, just she's a human being first. Everybody deserves health care.
So yeah, what she said. Now the older grandbaby, which is Chase, he does not know that he has a younger brother. They are waiting to let him know that, but they do think that he will definitely be needing some therapy, as he's been seeing his mom lay on this, this bed and be non-responsive for quite a while now. And then, a new baby popping out. So it is a lot for him to handle at such a young age. So just keep him in your thoughts at this time. And some things that April said about Adriana were that she absolutely loved people. They knew, for a very long time before she became a nurse, that she wanted to be a nurse. She passed her RN exam on the first time. Like, she was super excited and screaming and yelling, and they were just like really calm. And they were like, we know. So they thought she was a very smart young lady from the beginning. So her family is very proud of her. They said she was an amazing mom. She loved being a mom, and that she just overall was a very caring person. So she is definitely having a hard time with the fact that, she's going to be soon saying goodbye to her daughter. She, of course, wishes she had more time. And of course, I think most people people do wish that she would have been able to have more time with her daughter. But she's having to do what most black women have to do, which is be strong for everybody around us, because that is the expectation placed upon our lives. Unfortunately, when we're born, it's a way of life for us, unfortunately. But I do hope that she does not have to be as strong in the process of losing her daughter, and that we can just rally around her and give her continued support as she is transitioning into a new way of life. She's about to lose her daughter. She has 2 grandbabies, one who's in the NICU, and quite a lot of medical bills that'll be coming their way as, things kind of start to trickle down to the end of this process that they were not prepared to have to be dealing with. So just keep her in your thoughts at this time. I'm not sure if she's going to publicly announce, the funeral and things of that sort, because some of the patients of Adriana Smith have reached out to her and said that they would like to attend. So she may make arrangements so that there is a public thing for people who, knew her from her job as a nurse and want to be there, and just the people who have rallied around this family during this very tragic situation. I'm not sure. She didn't say anything about it in the interview from yesterday, but she may come back and provide that information at a later time. So I'll just definitely keep an ear out for that information. So Adriana Smith will be taken off of.
Hey everyone, we have a critical update on the Adriana Smith case. So as a reminder, Adriana, a nurse from Georgia, was declared brain dead in February while 8 weeks pregnant. On June 13th, her son named Chance was born via emergency C-section. He weighed just over 1 pound and is now in the NICU. Her family is preparing to say goodbye to Adriana this week. But here's the ethical crisis. Her family says that they were told the hospital had to keep Adriana on life support due to Georgia's abortion law, House Bill 481. That's false. The law does not require life support after brain death. Even the Georgia Attorney General clarified that removing life support is not considered abortion. Still, the hospital kept her on machines for 4 months. Her family had no legal say, no chance to advocate for her values or wishes. That's a fundamental violation of informed consent and medical ethics. And here's something that hasn't been talked about enough, right? The medications used to preserve Adriana's body likely harmed the fetus. Vasopressors, corticosteroids, sedation, and hormonal support can cause placenta insufficiency, impaired growth, brain bleeds, or long-term neurodevelopmental issues, especially in extreme prematurity. This baby was fighting before he was even born. This wasn't just about keeping Adriana's body alive. It was about forcing her body to become a vessel for a potential life without her consent and at a great risk to that very life. A 7-year-old boy now has to grow up without his mother. Her newborn son may face lifelong complications, and her mother is left saying, quote, "We should have had a choice," end quote. This case is what happens when vague, overly broad laws are weaponized against families, especially Black women. We have to do better legally, ethically, and medically.
Adriana Smith was declared brain dead in February 2025. She walked into Northside Hospital in Atlanta complaining of a severe headache. A healthy 31-year-old nurse, mother to a 7-year-old daughter, and 9 weeks pregnant. What followed was not just a medical emergency. It was a human rights conflict, a legal entanglement, and in many ways a case study in what happens when state laws start using women's bodies as battlegrounds. After Adriana collapsed and doctors diagnosed her with massive blood clots in her brain, they determined she was legally and medically brain dead. By all definitions in modern medicine, she had passed away, but because she was pregnant and Georgia's heartbeat bill had already gone into effect, doctors and hospitals administrators made a decision: keep her body functioning on machines, not for her sake, but to try and bring her fetus to term. And this is where the ethnical line starts to blur and for many become unbearable. The hospital told her family they were bound by law. The Georgia Life Act recognized the fetus as a legal person once cardiac activity is detected, usually around 6 weeks. Under that interpretation, removing life support from Adriana could have been seen as ending the life of the fetus. So for 4 months, Adriana's body was kept alive artificially. Machines kept her heart beating. Her chest rose and fell, but her brain had already died. There was no return, no hope of revival. She was not in a coma, she was not vegetative, she was legally dead, and yet she remained hooked to life support because of a law that never imagined this kind of complexity. Her mother, grieving, exhausted and powerless, watched the 4 months as her daughter's body was used as an incubator. No amount of pleading or media coverage could move the system. The family could not remove her from life support. They couldn't hold a funeral. They couldn't begin the grieving process. They had to wait. Now here's the part that will haunt many of us. The Georgia Attorney General's office later clarified that the Life Act did not in fact require the hospital to keep Adriana on machine. The law did not mandate this outcome, meaning what happened to her may not have been law. It may have been fear of misinterpreting the law, or worse, fear of public or political backlash, bureaucratic paralysis at its most inhuman. So, for 4 months later, in June 2025, the baby named Chance was born via emergency C-section. He was prematured, just about 32 weeks, weighing less than 2 pounds. He is currently in intensive neonatal care. We don't yet know what his long-term health prospects are, but his life began in an tangle of tubes, wires, lawsuits, press conference, and pain. And Adriana, she was removed from life support shortly after her son was born, officially pronounced dead again. This time the state allowed her body to rest. Let's stop here and ask the real question. What right does a woman have once she declared brain dead? If she's pregnant, what right do her family members have? And in a state that legally considers the fetus a person, does the woman herself become a vessel, nothing more? This case isn't just about pro-life versus pro-choice. It's about the intersection of medical ethics, reproductive rights, racial inequality, and legal ambiguity. And make no mistake, this happened to be a black woman in Georgia, a state with one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the country, especially for black mothers. Studies have constantly shown that black women are more likely to be dismissed in clinical settings, more likely to receive inadequate pain management, and less likely to be taken seriously when describing symptoms. Adriana went to the hospital with a severe headache, a known warning sign for blood clots, particularly in pregnancy. She was sent home with medication. Less than 48 hours later, she was back in the emergency room, this time gasping for air. The damage was already done. So here's a woman, a healthcare professional herself, who did everything right. She sought care, she followed up, she was still failed by a system that wasn't built to patronize her. What her family experienced wasn't just medical, it was an institutional powerlessness. They had to navigate legal jargon while mourning their daughter. They couldn't bury her, couldn't honor her final wishes, couldn't even step away from the media glare, because her body had become a symbol, a battleground in the war over reproductive laws. But let's also humanize this. Remove the political filter for a moment. Think of the daughter, 7 years old, watching her mom being taken away, put on machines, never speaking again, and still being told she's here. What kind of trauma does that create? How do you explain to a child that her mother is gone, but not really because the law says so? What is so deeply disturbing is how quiet many lawmakers were. Some pro-life advocates called this a miracle. Others stay silent, unsure how to address the paradox of a law that tries to preserve one life by denying the dignity of another. This case is going to leave legal ripples. Healthcare systems are watching. Attorneys are taking notes. Bioethics boards are writing new guidelines. Some states may introduce Adriana's laws, as some advocates are now proposing a law that makes it crystal clear if a woman is declared brain dead, the decision about continuing life support belongs to her next of kin, not the state. And it should, because what happened to Adriana Smith wasn't inevitable. It was a decision made by people, by doctors, administrators, and lawmakers who interpreted a poorly written law with maximum fear and minimum humanity. It could happen again. It will happen again. Unless we fix the gaps, unless we stop treating pregnancy as a condition that erases your personhood, unless we start listening to families, especially black families, when they say enough, let us grieve, let us decide. There are no heroes in these stories, just victims. Adriana, her daughter, her mother, and now her son, born into a world shaped by legal loophole and a moral crisis. But maybe the legacy of Adriana Smith wouldn't be just strategy. Maybe it will be clarity, reform, a new framework for honoring life without dehumanizing those who carried it. Because at the end of the day, the right to bring life into this world should never come at the cost of erasing the humanity of the person carrying it. Rest in peace, Adriana Smith. And to the baby chance, we hope the world you grow up in will fight harder for the dignity your mother was denied. If you found this story important, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts below, and share this video. These conversations matter, and so does every voices that refuses to look away. See you in the next one.